let's talk about money. But what if we thought about it differently? What if I told you that personal finance isn't some big, scary chore, but a game? A game with rules, with levels, and with strategies that once you learn them, you can absolutely win. Okay, let's crack open this player's handbook. So let me ask you a question, straight up. Right now, what does your financial life feel like? Is it a constant struggle, just a source of stress? Or do you see it as a game of strategy and opportunity? How you answer that, well, it changes pretty much everything.
And the blueprint we're using today comes from Daniel Mungena's book, Money Game. You can think of him as the game designer. He's the one who's laid out all the levels, the rules, and yeah, even a few cheat codes you're going to need to succeed. So, let's start with level 1. And honestly, this is the big one, mastering your mindset. Because before you can even think about winning the game, you have to understand the psychology of the player. And spoiler alert, that player is you. You know, it really boils down to these two core mindsets. Over on one side, you've got the scarcity mindset. This is the one that sees limits and stress everywhere. It leads to fear, and it's often something we just kind of inherit. But on the other side, you've got the abundance mindset, which sees opportunity and growth. This isn't about just being blindly optimistic. It's a conscious choice you have to make, a skill you have to cultivate.
And those mindsets, they create some very real psychological barriers. I'm talking about the stuff we inherited from our parents about money, or that fear of losing that stops us from ever investing. Some people even feel guilty about having wealth, or deep down they just don't believe they deserve to be rich. Manganus says these things can become self-fulfilling prophecies. So the first crucial step is to spot them, so you can start tearing them down.
All right, once you've started to get your head in the right space, it's time for level 2, learning the fundamental rules of the game. These are the absolute non-negotiables for building a solid financial foundation.
And the rulebook is surprisingly simple. It all starts with making a budget, which is really just understanding your own game board. Then, you build an emergency fund. Think of this like your safety net. And finally, you get a real handle on your debt. You know, there are even cheat codes for this part, like the snowball or avalanche method. These aren't just suggestions. They are the essential first moves you have to make. Let's just zoom in on that emergency fund for a second. The goal here is to have 3 to 6 months of your living expenses tucked away. Don't think of it as an investment, think of it as your financial shield. It's the thing that keeps you in the game when some unexpected mini-boss, like a big car repair, shows up out of nowhere.
Now, this is a really key distinction. Not all debt is the same. Good debt is basically an investment, something that can grow in value, like a mortgage. Bad debt, on the other hand, like high-interest credit cards, is for stuff that just loses value. The strategy here is pretty simple. You want to leverage good debt when it makes sense and be absolutely ruthless about eliminating bad debt. Okay, so you've got your foundation. It's solid. Now we get to level 3. This is where you stop playing defense and you start playing to win. This is all about strategic wealth building.
And if you want to win, you have to diversify your offense. That means developing these 3 different types of income: active, passive, and portfolio. Relying on just one is like trying to win a championship with only one player on the field. It's just not going to happen. So first up, you've got your active income. This is your main player, your day job, your salary. It's reliable, it's the foundation of everything, but its power is limited because it's a direct trade. You give your time, you get money back. And that's exactly why you need to build those other streams.
Next up, we've got passive income, and this is where you really start to change the game. This is all about building systems that make money for you, even when you're not actively working. We're talking rental properties that bring in cash flow every month, or royalties from a book you wrote. This is how you start to break the link between your time and your income.
And finally, portfolio income. So if active income is you working for money and passive income is your assets working for you, portfolio income is when your money starts working for you. This is the magic of compounding, right? The money generated from your investments, stocks, bonds, that sort of thing. This is the ultimate power-up for long-term wealth.
So where does that portfolio income come from? Well, you're playing on all these different fields. Each of these asset classes has its own rules and its own risks. Stocks can give you big growth, bonds give you stability, real estate can generate that cash flow. The key strategy here is diversification. You wouldn't put all your best players in the same position on a sports team, right? You spread them out. Same thing with your investments.
And that brings us to this really important quote from Mangina. Look, risk is just part of the game. You can't avoid it if you actually want to win. The goal isn't to run and hide from risk, it's to understand it, manage it, and lessen it through a smart, diversified strategy. So, as we start to wrap this up, it's so important to get this. There's no final boss. There's no end screen that says, you win. This is a never-ending game. And the ultimate strategy, the one that keeps you successful for the long haul, is to just keep learning.
And that's the bottom line, right there. Financial literacy, constantly educating yourself, reading books, taking courses, using financial tools. It is the absolute cornerstone of winning this game. The more you know, the better your moves are going to be. Simple as that. So there it is. The rule book is in your hands. You know the levels, you know the rules, you know the strategies. The game is officially on. The only question left is, what's your first move?